Dear students, we are going to talk about the psychological test. I'm going into details for story writing. We've already done many sessions, but a revision can help you become stronger at it. So let's start with this. In the psychological test, story writing has a very, very big role because actually in the story writing, you get substantial number of words to write. Around 70 to 110, 120 words. So automatically for 3 minutes, you write a complete idea. You create a character, you create an action, you create a situation, then you resolve it. So in the process, we come to know what kind of behavior, what kind of thoughts, and how you will behave in different situations. Yes, this test is designed to identify different aspects of your personality, and it is a very, very effective personality test. Now, why is it called thematic apperception test? Because in thematic apperception, we are talking about themes, the kind of thought process which is coming to your mind. Now, what kind of personality you have? If you have a PIQ, personal information questionnaire, which talks about a biodata of different elements like different school, parenting, our father is doing this, or you have done different activities, automatically that is your credential, that is your experience, that is your past. And that is also the base of your psychological process. Because exposures impact personality, or our thinking impact our achievements. So if your achievements are speaking so, it will be there in your mind. Automatically, when we give you 12 stories, many of your stories will be going according to your past. Now, there are many people who tend to copy from YouTube and other places, and they just put a story because for the sake of story. Remember, no, this is not fair. If you really want to give a psychology test, please open your hearts and write from your mind. Write from your own self. Be confident of what you want to write. Write stories which are genuinely yours, in the sense that what reflects your personality. Suppose you are a daughter of a colonel, so you had a different experience, so automatically you'll be writing of that. Similarly, your father has been into a different rank in the armed forces, you have had a different experience. You write of that. Now, for example, this girl whose father is a colonel is also a tennis player, has done NCC also, and has done other activities. Fine, naturally, those NCC activities will come in your mind. Your experience of tennis will come in your mind. Your father's working with the Gurkha regiment will come into your mind. For example, I'm just giving Gurkha regiment, otherwise it can be Jacklai or whatever it is. Similarly, the girl's father who has been in medium artillery, that thought will come in mind. If you have been posted in different cantonments, suppose you have been in Jalandhar, you have been in Faridkot or whatever, that can come into your mind. Similarly, the boys who are going for other entries, they will have different experiences. So everything is natural to come into your mind, and we can read from that are you writing from your heart, or are you writing planted stories? Now, when you do one thing very wrongly, you tend to copy stories. You are not only copying, the others are also copying. So as a result, what happens? It tends to look common. Now that is, we are not doing physics, chemistry, biology. We're doing a psychology test. Every person is unique. Every thought is unique. So your stories will also be very different. Yes, agreed. Water is important for life. But the way you write for it will be different. You will write differently. Yes, there are going to be common points, agreed. But the writing pattern, the sequence of behavior, the sequence of action, the emotions, your readings, your attitude will be different in approaching everywhere. Like you receive a guest, some will do it with water and sweets. Some may go ahead immediately come up with not only water, sweets, maybe a cold drink along with it also. And some may follow it up with a tea and samosas and God knows other things. Some may go a step ahead and create something small like some kind of chart or something by their own, or make some kind of, what should be called snacks and serve. Now see, the same guest, different reactions. There may be a possibility that that guest has come at such and such time. Some people objectively will be dealing differently, and they will be immediately asking the guest with some water, and after that request him to come for lunch because he's come at that time. Similarly, he's come at dinner time, you will do differently. So it depends on how you react and how you see a situation. So the theme is dependent on your ability to see, your intelligence, your observation, and thus the whole story differs. And that is very natural to happen. So if you are writing some stories which are coming from your heart, which is different, so it's got common sense is going to be logical, logic is going to be common, agreed. But then the story will be a little different in same picture. This is natural. So here we are talking about thematic apperception test. If we ask you to write down what is the character, what did he see, what were the emotions, what did he react, what was the result, right? And in the reaction you can add multiple aspects, that's understood. Now there are going to be 12 stories. Each time you will be given 30 seconds to see them, and thereafter 3 minutes to write. So in 11 of them you will be shown a picture, and the blank, in one last one there will be a blank picture, so you'll have to write your story. Now for the blank, many people prepare a story beforehand and go, and that is stark contrast to the 11. Therefore it is advised that please do not prepare a story and go there, write spontaneously. 1. Suppose you do it also, if you prepare, it should be well that all the 11 stories should also have similar standard and similar format. That will be better for you. Nevertheless, let's go down to session number 1. Thematic apperception test and its importance is very, very important, because the slips of word, negative words, if you write tension, complaint too many times, we identify that you are a troubled person. At a young age like you should all be very, 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 very positive, full of energy, full of cheerfulness, full of liveliness, and full of right action and wisdom. So here we look at that. We show you a picture of your family, so we identify what kind of family values you have. We show you a picture of young boy and girl. We like to pick up how do you really relate with genders. Are you wise enough to treat each other as equal individuals, or you treat differently? So then you will affect the culture of the organization. Then we also see the kind of achievements you have. So we show you a reward picture. Then we try to see your way you will react to emergency. So we show you an emergency action, kind of an accident kind of picture. Then we also see how you behave in a unclear this thing, how logically you behave. So we show you that. That is why I taught you a lot of concepts about the different way to perceive the picture. Positive action, positive situation, negative action, negative situation, then neutral action and situation, and thereafter vague and defined. What do you mean by neutral action and picture? Normal, two people talking, one person thinking, one person writing. These are neutral pictures. Why do I call it neutral? Because that will give you an opportunity to express yourself. If you have done essay competition, you can write a story on that. If you have done some kind of preparation for something, you can write a story on that. Write from your own heart. Why are you failing to express yourself? Don't you have self-confidence? If you have self-confidence, write on it. So the same thing is for neutral picture. Then we come down to positive action. Suppose somebody is receiving an award. Now you have received an award for X activity. So then why are you writing a story for Y activity? Why don't you write for X activity? It is natural that your thought will be sparked off for the same. Similarly, if you have seen anything in predefined, that means you have to immediately adapt yourself to that picture. Suppose they are showing you a pilot, you'll have to think like a pilot. They may show you a farmer, think like a farmer. Yes, the qualities that you show in the farmer of responsibility, hard work, determination can be yours. But the character has to be the farmer. So this way, why stories you can reflect. Please understand this. This time the entire channel has been dedicated to systematized thought so that you can walk away from all the confusions you're having. This channel has been dedicated in that context that 30 years of Lam Academy should come down to you. You should understand that your thought process are the basis of your selections. Once your thought process is straight, and thereafter your question answers in interview, and thereafter your behavior is natural and cooperative and positive in terms of speech, you are getting in. So trust me and trust yourself. Now we come down to the different elements which we pick up that I have already told you. Parenting, they'll pick up how do you react, how do you create a parent, what did he teach in that story that you become, the values will come out. Then schooling, if you have written some activity, they're showing you a cultural, a situation where some kind of cultural activity is taking place, or some sports activity or some other activity, automatically your mind will go back to the schooling time or the college time. Am I right? Then you come down to relationships. If you will see something very natural, for example, people who have been in a co-ed and have had a healthy relationship, they will not overreact to opposite gender. They will react normally. But the people who are coming from closed areas, from orthodox areas, and they are having high sensitivity, they will write a funny story. There are some people who will use it wrongly. So that way they will show that they do not have the right sense of relationship. We want you to be having a good human understanding for the sake. And gender reaction also comes in there. Then comes stress handling. Stress handling means they're showing you multiple situations. They're showing you earthquake situation. So you have to be cool and calm and step by step solve it. That's exactly what they mean. Stress handling means that in the story, are you able to write sequentially without getting panicked? You're writing systematically, writing simple but writing complete. That's exactly, they'll pick it up. The way you change your ideas will be negative. So write with the proper sequence. Move from A, go to Z. Then we come down to emergency handling. How do you handle emergency situations like an accident or an earthquake or some kind of flood? How are you going to handle? That's exactly what they're going to pick. Then we talk about psychological aptitude, that is your special qualities. What is the aptitude? What kind of things you can do? Now, you already have written a biodata in the name of personal information questionnaire, where you have already said that you have done this, which reflects your aptitude. So automatically they already have an idea. So if you're not writing about it, how will we come to know? You don't want to express? Don't. You won't get selected. Express yourself. Not with a book, not singing it out like a trumpet, but at least expressing when it is supposed to be done. Then we come down to psychological attitude. How do you react? Is your reaction balanced, or is it over, or is it under? What kind of reactions are you writing? So that's exactly what it is. Psychological means, I hope you are not becoming hyper and seeing some kind of situation. You're behaving very systematically cool with wisdom. Remember the tagline of armed forces, Hosh and Josh. Hosh means that you should use wisdom, and Josh means you should have the enthusiasm. That's what we mean. And then we come down to the basic values which you've learned from your parents. Remember, truth is not to be spoken because it is written in the religious book, but truth is to be spoken because it is very important for your practical usage. It will develop your faith in people, and people will trust you. Thus you will be respected, and thus you will enjoy a healthy relationship. But if you lie, what are you going to do? The very next person is not going to like you. He'll consider that you are a very, very dirty, very, very filthy, and very, very untrustworthy person. I'm sure someday or the other, the person will also misbehave with you. So trust, so you are, so you reap. So you sow, so you reap, and so you are, so you see. Remember that. Then we come down to your session 3, where the use of picture as stimulus in a story is important. If you are showing you a picture of a farmer and you're writing a story of a scientist, it will be very odd. We want you to learn to use your wisdom to observe the picture and use it. I have taught about the trick, how to use the picture in the front, in the middle, or the last. Please go down to the other videos, they will all help you. Read it in terms of entertainment only, but you're going to learn. You're going to become much better than me. You're going to become a fantastic personality, very intelligent personality, but you've got to read it. We have already done a lot of homework for you, but the idea of that homework is only going to benefit you if you utilize them. Go back to many of the videos. We've been posting videos in good numbers. Why? Why are we flooding it? Because we know that SSB is coming through, and many of you would require deeper concepts. But again, all these videos are for the students who study. We look forward, we appreciate the girls studying more. We have picked up the statistics that generally you do better. Why? Because you pay full attention, you absorb and you apply. And that is why the girls get recommended in good numbers. Many of them miss the merit, that's a different issue. But they get recommended in good numbers. Your homework. So the boys, I'm not belittling you. I'm just telling you that please do not go for the long race. It is very troublesome. You have a very good SSB right in front of you. Get selected, join the forces, and take off in your career. Thereafter, you can do everything in life. But if you want to take it casual, you don't want to practice, I'm sorry, you can miss the train. Do that. Now we come down to the middle part. I've already told you. The very positive side you can use in the last part of the picture. That is, there was a person, he did this here and then got this award, right? Now there is middle portion. If somebody is running, you've shown that he basically worked hard, so he ran and he did this. That's the middle part. Then there are certain times when you come into starting. There is a negative situation, so your hero came up, he solved that problem, and thus he ended up. So I've already taught all this portion, how you will use it in the middle, first, and the last. Please look into the other videos, please. Now we come down to session number 4. The outline method of writing, very important that first, frame your mind, concentrate, and do that. Hero creation. Create a hero in your mind. Whom would you make? Now, whom would you make if you are shown a farmer kind of agricultural thing? Either a person visiting the village, number 1. Number 2, either a farmer. Number 3, village development officer. Number 4, Gram Pradhan officer. So if you have created the right hero, automatically the story will go the right way. And why do you create this hero? Because you logically perceive that it is appropriate. Now, similarly, then correlating with the story, that is correlating with the picture also. You can correlate, it's written correlating story, but exactly with the picture, that should be the complete sentence. So if you are seeing a picture and you are writing a story which is matching, that means you are able to think fine. Now, analytical description means what did you see and what you want to solve. That is what I mean. They strictly tell you don't describe that there's a man standing, there is a tree nearby. No, you're not supposed to write all that. You're just supposed to pick up what exactly is the problem with the farmer. He finds that this is this, so he did this. Analytical. Is it clear? Now we go down to identification of necessary actions. You know, whenever you have a problem, there is one basic action which you got to do. That is, in accident, you got to take the person to the, give the first aid and take them to the hospital. Basic action. But what are the other actions? If you perceive that, okay, this is required, also inform the relatives and possibly clear the traffic jam, take the help of other people. Now, these are all subsidiary actions, but they are very important because they complete the whole action. So if you have any things which are necessary action, you should add it. Additional actions and complication resolution is very important. What do you mean by additional action? These are the ones which I talked to. And what do you mean by complication resolution? There may be a possibility that while doing something, you find an obstacle and you find that this is not happening. If you think so, if you have had an experience, then what did you use as an additional thought, or should I say resourceful thinking, that you found out a solution? Suppose you went down to a hospital, but unfortunately, so you rushed up to the next private hospital and got him admitted, right? That is okay. So that depth of thought you can use, and you should. This is a suggestion. Rest, when you will send us, in case you want to send us evaluations, you can do that and we will help you. But more importantly, it is for your wisdom. So we are coming straight on to your home so that you can understand everything. Now, last is conclusion. You know, everyone who lives positively always ends the picture, loves a picture which ends positively, where the hero gets awarded or the story goes into a positive ending. Am I right? So positivity automatically means a positive ending. You cannot kill the hero. It's not right. You will say it's a practical story, and I'm sorry to say, I want positivity in you because you are young people, young bloods who are supposed to serve the armed forces. You're supposed to be positive. You're supposed to be energetic. With your negative thought, you look very, very sad and very, very, what should I say, that you would be very, very useless for the organization because you already have a negative thoughts. So we want you to be positive, and if you have positivity, your conclusion will always be positive, ending up in a positive way. I have already told you that there are some people who dwell in problems, there are some people who find solutions and achieve it. So we are talking about achievers who get their solution. Is it clear? Okay. Now in the session 5, projective impressions and thoughts by the candidate. Now, what do you mean by projective? You know, when I told you there are many pictures which will be quite normal, but how will you project? For example, you see a family picture. How are you going to project? You're going to talk about your family, that there was so and so, and the father was posted in so and so, and there were this. Suppose you are from a civilian background, your father runs a grocery store, you will think like that. So there's nothing wrong. You don't have to be embarrassed, or whatever background you are. You should be proud of it. And if your father is poor, that's wonderful. But you have worked hard to come here, more wonderful. So please remember that the more positive you are, the more natural you are, the more happy you are with your personality, you are going to perform better. Because they will pick up that you are this, you are pretending this. So do not try to pretend big things. Just be yourself, you're going to get selected. There are many people who kept on trying experiments from different places, and they landed up writing different stories, but they couldn't make it. However, after 9-10 times, whenever they came to us via certain officer references, we sat down and we evaluated, and we found out that the person was not able to think from their own angle. And whatever they were thinking was in total contrast to the personality. So as a result, they could not get through. The moment they identified this basic flaw, they corrected it. They were already good. I didn't do anything. It was just about a small equation, permutation, combination where they were going wrong. So I corrected that. I told them that they're going wrong here. And then it was wonders. I have already told you all open. Now you have to check your permutation, combination, and correct yourself. And the moment you do that, everything is going to fall in place. Is it clear? So projective thought process, the way you think. We've already read it in Ramayana. Jinki rahi bhavna jaisi Prabhu Murutin teki tasi. It's a Hindi slogan. That means the kind of person you are, so you see in the God. There are some people who worship Lord Lakshmi. Why? Because they only value money. There are some people who they worship Goddess Saraswati because they value wisdom. Some Ganesha, Lord Ganesha, because they value writing and they value studies. Some Lord Shiva for the simplicity and the power. Some Lord Hanuman for the kind of faith, for the kind of energy, for the kind of fearlessness. And there are some people who worship their own gods in different forms, maybe more wholesome. I'm talking about Hindu gods because there are varieties. That is why I told you. But there are some gods which are one in all. So you can do that. So the entire process is so you are, so you think. Got the point? Okay. And you should write. I mean, the projective is that you should express yourself. You see a kind of organizing, you have done a birthday kind of thing. Write down, how did you do that? So write freely, be yourself, enjoy yourself. That's it. The whole game comes there. Session 6, cognitive process and logical pattern. See, we in cognitive behavior therapy, we always tell you that please don't copy things from here and there. Train your mind to be your origin. There is nothing wrong from learning from examples, but applying it in total is wrong. Because the moment you copy examples and copy it like a learned code, you do the mistake. Examples are only to open your mind, to open your thoughts, and to write in your own style. Yes, your style should not have very poor language or very poor attitudes. That is all we tell you. But now people who are afraid, they copy dot to dot. Do not do this. Be calm with your own personality, because every one of you are wonderful personality in your own ways. And the moment you will explore your personality, you will evolve into a more wholesome personality. Is it clear? So here we are talking about cognitive behavior therapy is the same. Cognitive means instead of. Now I'll teach you something very important. Like whenever you get a thought after seeing a picture, do not rush and write. Just for a moment, pause. Think, is it relevant? Does it matter to me? Does it look relevant? Is it logical? Is it right for me to write? The first one is RIGHT and the second one is WRIT. Is it right for me to write? And the moment you do that very spontaneously, you'll be writing something sensible rather than talking something bizarre, something very odd, something very silly. So remember that, that's very important for you. you automatically will develop a fluidity. But don't copy styles. You should have variety. He will give you a code how to adopt variety. Now we come down to the session number 7. Few examples and its interpretations. We're going to put it across to you. Now this is called positive action picture. I had already told you that whenever you see a person, the way you look at it first time is going to help you get right direction right from that, because you have to take quick decisions. So when you have to take quick decision, you have to read it right. That's exactly what we are going to teach you. Now this is called positive action picture. What does it mean? See, this is one person showing that there are two people and one person is helping a drowning person. Don't you think saving somebody from drowning is a positive action? That's exactly what I mean by positive action. So if you see a picture where something good is happening, please create the person doing it as the hero, and thereafter you can say that there were some schoolboys, they were studying in hostels, they were there in English, you can see it's an English county, and they found one day one of the friends slipped in and was drowning. He immediately jumped up and gave the hand. Meanwhile, he told his friend to catch hold of him. He realized that he was sinking, so he applied more pressure and placed himself properly in terms of sitting so that he can pull up the person, and then told his other friends to pull them up. Meanwhile, also asked one of his friends to get a rope so that they can give the additional help, or a stick. And this way, finally, by using different resources, they were able to get out of that sinking kind of water, or you can call it a little bit of, what do we call that, quagmire, that in Hindi we call it daldal, isn't it, the sand kind of thing. So we got that person, and this way, by the time other people also came over, they helped, and the boy was given relief and everything was happy. He already was a friend, but now the friendship strengthened. You get it? It's a beautiful story, but what we have done, we've taken the positive action in a proper way. You understood? Okay. Now we go down to the session 8, which we're talking about positive situation. It's a slight difference from action. In that, the hero was already doing something, so we called it positive action. But in positive situation, it's a small difference. So you can understand that, and then you can learn how to read this story or the picture. Now see, this is the award ceremony. Now that means a positive situation. Now where did this award come from? Because of some good efforts. So you can create a character who worked hard, and finally, as it is coming up, he went on and he became the best achiever. Now if you have in your biodata or otherwise, you already done some kind of achievement, you can write a story on that, and you can fill the elements how you did it. If you have not done this, but you dream to be, you can also write that. Yes, because it's looking like a school picture, so it has to be related to your school memories. It has to be related to your school achievements. So this way you can write a story, and in the end, you can give the award and end up the story with the positivity. All right? Okay, let's go further. Now in the session 9, we're going to talk about thematic apperception, negative action picture. What do you mean by negative action? Negative means anything which is going wrong. So what are you going to do? Are you going to make a hero of that person? Probably not. You may get a hero from outside. Or you would like to do it in an administrative manner, whatever you want to. Let's see this. Learn from this. Now these are two people fighting. Now in negative action, there can be one thing more, the way you perceive. If you perceive it as neutral, that they are learning how to fight and protect themselves, you want to write that. Self-defense, please do that. But if you don't want to do that, you want to make it an administrative, you can show that so-and-so was the school captain and he found these people, he immediately separated them with the help of others, and thereafter resolved the problems, or took them to the principal as per the rules and sorted it out. You can write if you've done it. I hope you've got my point. Am I right? So what I really want to say is that you've got to think on that line. Now, where are we coming down to? Session number 10. Few examples of thematic apperception, negative situation, slightly different. Now, in negative situation, there is a problem already there. It's not the person in action. In negative action, we did not make those negative people as our hero. We took a person from outside. But in negative situation, we can see it as a challenge and we can resolve. Now, look at this. In this, we have a system that there is a person, there is a tiger which has caught the lady. Now this is a negative situation, right? So what have you done? Either you can make this lady brave, or you can make other person brave, whatever you want. But you have to solve the situation. It's a challenge. Once there was a lady, she was walking in the field, Suddenly the tiger crept back and started making an attack. The lady, being brave, she immediately remembered what her parents had told him, that in case such things happen, what she got to do is be composed, but immediately catch hold of the saw, whatever she's happening, and in the lower portion of the throat, near the place where the tiger generally has a soft skin, sink it hard and deep till the time it starts affecting the person, and slowly the tiger will die. She remembered this, though it was panicky, but she remained cool, and she did this, and thus she not only killed the tiger but also saved herself. Can be written. Or you can write, there was a farmer, he saw this, immediately acted quick. He rushed up as he had a gun nearby. He immediately acted, and he was very, very careful in shooting so that the tiger only gets hurt and she does not, and thus she was able to save. You can write. Yes, many more things can be written, like for a stranger officer, he doing something, whatever. You can go further. The next time they remove the man-eater from there, or whatever you want to do in addition. Now we come down to the other thing called neutral action and situation picture. Now in neutral action and situation picture, you get freedom to express yourself. You get freedom to write your own stories. You already have a biodata, so you have a thought process. Here we go. Now in this, we have this that there are few people standing and talking to girl, right? Boys also, and looks like small childhood memories. Am I right? You must have done some kind of organizing some kind of activity when you were a small boy, or you must have done some competitions if you have studied in Kuwait, I'm sure. Or even if you've not studied in Kuwait, you must have, in some relative function, you must have helped with your sister or something. Write a story in which they sat down, they discussed, and then they did this, whatever the function or whatever the game or the activity, and you can come up with a good story. You don't have to write big stories of terrorist sculpture or something to get selected. You have to write your basic thoughts so that it automatically relates. Now, if you have done a thing and you've learned from something and you know how to cooperate with others, I think it's good enough quality which you are displaying, rather than making a terrorist operation and trying to solve things, right? So here we go into the story called predefined picture. What do you mean by predefined? Predefined is like a picture where you cannot force a cut, copy, paste kind of situation. Like there are people who come down with some stories and they put it there. Do not do that, because they want to see how well you can adapt. In this, you may not get an opportunity to relate your biodata, but you can come up with a common and logical story. Now look at this. Here we have a predefined situation action picture. There is a lady walking with the what? This looks like the lady is living in a village and goes for gathering the water from a distance. So we can take this as a predefined and we can solve their water problem. We can talk about water harvesting. We can talk about creating a tube well. We can talk about the lady herself thinking and educating people how they can solve. Whatever, you can create a block development officer, you can create a village pradhan and solve the problem. You can also create one of the wise boys or person or the husband of the lady who finally solved this problem. You can do that. Okay. Here we come down to the session number 13, which talks about vague action and situation. Now, what do you mean by vague action and situation? Sometimes the kind of picture which is shown to you is blur. Now, whenever it is a blur picture, automatically you wouldn't be able to figure out what is happening. Now here more common sense has to apply, because in the blur what happens, your projection gets confused, or sometimes you are not able to see sharply. You know, when you see it something blur, you have to apply more intelligence, more common sense, more logic, more concentration. That is how we get your inner you. So if you see this picture and you find and you tend to rush up with the actions, what are you going to do? You will do a gross mistake. So in blur picture, try to see things more properly. Generally, one can see that there is a man talking to a girl or something, and the woman is probably having a hand or is crying or anything. Now, where did you feel her crying? There can be one. Why not you discuss that so and so, and they were both batchmates once they were given a situation. So he told her that they should sit down and discuss everything and write it down. She also agreed, and they sat down, they discussed every plan, and they did it very well. Can be written. Now you find that so-and-so was there. Unfortunately, she was having certain pain, so he said not to worry. And here, helping others is a very, very important social responsibility. It speaks of the leadership quality because it automatically connects you with the other. It makes you responsible. It makes you more productive. Oh, understood? Right. Next, we come down to this session number 14, which is going to educate you how to get different ideas. Is it clear? Yes, there is one more type of picture which we have not discussed here. That is the blank picture. In the blank picture, what you're supposed to do is write your own thoughts, whatever experience you have. I will discuss it more in detail in the next session. Now, here we go down for a few examples. How do you read it? We look in the blank picture differently. How? Team action and leadership. You can write a story on that, in which you can show that there was a person, he came forward, he along with the team, he did it. So in the blank picture, we can again do it. Right? This is going to be a brief. We'll repeat it also. Now, there is a special achievement. Suppose you have also done your biodata in your PIQ or biodata. You already are saying that you have been the school captain and you did this or you did that. Well, that kind of story will naturally be bubbling over. So you want to write it, you can write. That is because of your special achievement and it's coming into your mind. Continuity as per story. Suppose you are writing something and thereafter you have to write on that he next day he reached home, then he next carrier. You can write whatever story, wherever you want to write. Continuity means the kind of story which you wrote in 11th. Thereafter the same character did something else. That's what I mean by continuity. Continuity doesn't mean the plot has to be the same. Doesn't mean that. It means that the character, after completing the thing, he went on to the other thing, or whatever you want. Resourceful action in emergency, it's a very important thing because effective intelligence is one of the most appreciated aspects of leadership, because problems are always there with leadership because they don't have a single problem of their own, they have problem with the entire team. So that time when they use the brain, the resourcefulness, that is it. The brain to solve, the brain to think, the brain to be effective to create some solution. Got it? That's resourceful. So you want to write the story, you can do that. Then we come down to organizing and participative leadership. I have always said that leadership is not a pseudo system of pretending to be a good speaker or to be good this thing. No. It always means that you are participating with it yourself and thereafter organizing it. That's exactly what we talk about participative leadership, where you yourself get involved and you do it. That's what we mean. So you can come up with this and this is going to be wonderful. You can write a story where you worked as a team and you all participated as a team. You kept your spirits high and you achieved something, whatever that may be. That can be youth cultural activity, or it can be a function or annual function of your school. It can be any debate, or it can be a science project, whatever you have done. Whatever. There are some boys sitting with the BTech, so they must have done certain projects. Or computer science, you can do that. The girls who have done bioscience, but they've also done other things, you can do that. Now we come down to the determined demonstration. If you want to really show that you also had certain ups and downs, but you maintained it and you, with the determination, you completed. You want to write that story? Go ahead. You can write it. So by your determination, you come up with this. Is it clear? So this session is going to be opening your eyes to many things, I hope. See, this is what in the blank story. Now I am clear. I want to write something on leadership, participative, I can write it. If I want to write something on my family, this thing, I want to write it, and where I worked as a wonderful, I've done some special achievement, I want to write it. Worked as a team and did it, write it. Resourceful action as a team, write it. So this blank picture can be rightly used for my different thoughts. I've given an idea to you. Now, one thing which I'm going to teach you, the last thing, very important, is that originality and checking stereotype. Do not copy from people. Write something better, like general situation village. Do not go for a complete village development. You pick one specific problem of the village and solve it. That's it. Rather than writing a complete story, which is a copycat from different type of YouTube channels, or you're picking up from different places. Do not do that. Please think. Pick any idea, but develop it your way, evolve it your way, add some changes, relevant changes, logical changes, and go ahead. Next, emergency situation. If you get in an accident on road, do not copy a story. He did this, he saw this. That's not. There are different actions which also help in emergency. Right. Next, preparing for exam, very, very common. People in educational, they write, they prepare the test and all that. Very common. Write something better. You can write about a science project, you can write about maths Olympiad, whatever you've done, you can write. In social situation, cleanliness, right? You know that, what is that called as, that entire process which the Prime Minister had done, and you're going to do that. No, it doesn't sound. You write something which is genuine. What is the best way to help the society? Make them aware. And how you do it? In many times in school, they take you for different activities, they help you for charity, they tell you to prepare things and teach them by a small demonstration. You can write that. Similarly, armed forces situation, there are some people who write too many army hero stories. They read Paramveer Chakra and write down few of them. No. We advise, okay, one, if you're very inspired by that character, you want to write that, you want to write, no problems. But then don't do excess. Don't show obsession. Remember, obsession is short-lived. If there is a person who keeps saying this, what happens? It becomes an obsessive compulsive disorder. We call this a psychological disorder. Whenever you have obsessive compulsive disorder, your attraction may be very strong, but your distraction will also be very strong. That means after some days, you certainly will get irritated with the same thing. So we want you to grow healthy. We want you to have a stable attraction. We don't want you to be rushing out. So don't write too much on the armed forces. Is it clear? Now we come down to the last self-introspection, that whenever you write stories, try to see in your stories, are you writing your own thoughts? Are you writing the kind of person you are? Are you reflecting the OLQs? Are you really having those OLQs? Now see what I say about OLQs. OLQs are no such qualities which are special coming from the heaven. They are day-to-day qualities. You all have it. You're cooperative, you've got determination, you've got intelligence, you've got communication. These are all common things. But where there are more polished, more chances of selection. Where there is less polished, less chances of selection. Because armed forces is not going to open a camp to first train you all OLQs, proper, then take you. No. They want certain degree of OLQs evident in your behavior, personality, and relevant. Balanced and learnability. I have told about trainability. Remember, some people are trained, some people have attitudes. They want to learn, they want to tell that, okay, I'm the boss, I've just arrived, I'm going to be the next field marshal. So that's not the way it looks. Whatever happens, it happens slowly and gradually, and you should be open to learn. Is it clear? Now we want to talk about the strategy called his A record. So I hope you pick this up. This will be a very good code word for you. It will open your mind on. Now, here's A record. It's just a code word to help you get a lot of ideas. H stands for hobby and home. Suppose you get a story you want to write related to your hobby, and then what you did. You want to write, please? You want to write a story on your home responsibility, how you did? You can. H gives you two opportunities to think on those directions and utilize the picture and write. Next, I, initiation and intelligence. Now, this is wrongly written here. It's not intelligence, it is intelligence. Now, what does initiation means? You are coming forward in the taking initiative, coming forward, helping the people. And what do you mean by intelligence? You are utilizing your wisdom, you're observing and applying it to solve the problem, right? So you've written a story, you can write that wherever you did, how you came forward and you planned and did things, right? Next, we come down to S, that is sports and social activity. Here, if you are played in sports and you see a person running and you want to write story on that, and you want to go back to your memory, how you played that, you want to write that, please go ahead. If you have done some social activity in the school, college, and you went out and did something, you want to write that, please do that. Then we come down to A, for armed forces. If you want to, why you like armed forces, what is your experience? Suppose, for example, Colonel's daughter here and the Subedar's daughter here, wonderful, both of you can write your own experiences of what you really did and what you really like. So that will go good for you. Then we come down to academic. If you have done some academic achievement and you remember that very passionately, how you had determinedly worked on it, how brain you had used, like when we used to do the chemical learning, we used to write down the equations again and again. You want to write that, please go ahead, write it. Similarly, adventure. If you've gone out to some place, there you had some kind of thing and then you applied this wisdom and this way you completed. You want to write, please go ahead. Then we come down to responsibility. Now, responsibility means if you have been a school captain or a group captain or a house captain or any class monitor and you did something, any challenge very nicely, you want to write that, please do it. Excellence. If you have achieved some award or something and you want to write a story on that, you can do that. So utilize this thought, but also look at the picture you get. You have to match both the equations together so that it's not necessarily to write all this, but you have to match the picture more importantly. But even if you write n number of things from here, that's going to be a good enough psychology test because you will be able to reflect yourself. Excellence, we already told you that you want to write something on cooperative challenge taking. Like if you get a challenge, how do you do it? Do you take it as a determination? Don't give up and complete it. You want to write, please do it. You cooperate with the people and work as a team and you complete it, well, do it. Then you come down to organizing. It's again written wrongly, organizing. It's not organizing. Please correct mistakes. Technical team to please take care. Don't do such small errors because there will be people pulling it up. So it's organizing. Organizing means, if you plan something, you have to think sequentially. And if you thought sequentially and got the things done, that's organizing. So you must have done things. Sure, picnic or school activities, yeah. Then we come down to resourcefulness, where you applied certain brain to solve some emergencies and how you did it. Like, you come up with a story where you've shown that, okay, this was not there, so he did this as an alternative and was able to complete it. That means you are solution finding, not a problem person that this was not there, so he did not do. There are many people who are poor workers. They only complain that this was not there, so I did not do it. They're looking at excuse. There are some people who look at solutions. So even if there is a problem, they look and find the solution. We are looking for those people to become the armed forces officer. Is it clear? Okay, the last one is determination. Yes, nobody will achieve anything if they are not determined to achieve it. So please always show determination in your quality. Now look at all these things are also reflective of different OLQs. So by this, you not only are able to reflect your biodata, but you are able to write sensible, original stories matching with your personality, matching with your psychology. God bless you. I hope you've all understood. So now this is session number 1. I'm endorsing, I'm trying to consolidate your story learning so that you become brilliant in your writing. You reflect yourself rightly, you get the best of marks there. Of course, we'll work on interviews, we'll work on GTOs, but first and foremost, let's finish off with psychology. Is it clear? Psychology is the basis because that is the attitude which you carry everywhere. So please improve on this. We'll go for the second part tomorrow. Thank you very much, Jane.